Today's AskReddit post. What is a loophole that you found and exploited the hell out of? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. I worked at a restaurant in a hotel where you could collect employee bucks of sorts for going above and beyond at your job. You could use them to pay for things like a room stay or food in the hotel restaurant. They were worth $1 each. But you obviously couldn't cash them in for real money. I saved up about $450 worth. Used $100 worth to pay for a hotel room on a day I was working. Bought a soda from myself at the restaurant and tipped myself the extra $350 and signed it all to my room bill. Upon checkout it just shows that I spent $350 at the restaurant, not a breakdown of the bill. So then I used my employee bucks to pay off the hotel bill and got an extra $350 on my paycheck. Minus taxes of course. That's actually pretty ducking smart. Stupid loopholes. Not sure if it counts as a loophole, but I worked at a Books music video store when I was in high school. We were supposed to remove the in-training portion of our name tags after the first 2 weeks. I just left mine on so that customers wouldn't ask me questions. A full year of hardly anyone talking to me at work was the best full year of my life. I did that as a server. We didn't have name tags but I always said I'm so sorry I'm a new server. People were nicer to me when I said that even though I had been serving for months. Hey, you tell me that every month. I'm really glad they keep rehiring you between my visits. Why do they keep firing you? Though? Because benefits kick in after 3 months. Open bracket. But seriously, I was actually banned from a job site once. No real reason given. Took about a week until the inconvenience of not having enough co-workers to cover them fast enough for their liking that I was tolerated again, although as far as I know I'm still banned. We had a situation at my old job, a huge, international company, where we'd work shifts. Either the 8th of October 2012 hours. Anything after 8 hours was overtime. Sometimes we were scheduled for the next shift quite soon after the last one had ended. For example 5 o'clock, 12 o'clock and then 1900 hours, 0 hours. Someone discovered that if there were less than 8 hours between shifts in a 24-hour period, anything after 8 hours total was paid the overtime rate. We did it for ages and then in the context of some team chat, some twat asked one of the managers whether the above scheduling would still be feasible. Turned out the management hadn't even noticed and stopped it immediately. And back to minimum wage we went. Depends on where you're at, but more than 8 hours in a day may count as OT. Basically Alaska and California. 12 hours or more and it counts in Colorado. In PA it's anything over 8 hours in a day and anything over 40 hours in a week. When I was much younger I had a pretty good paying job and averaged 80-hour weeks. Did this for 2-3 years and got a different job. I had huge money in the bank and no time to spend it. I worked with a lady that would work max hours of OT, 40 plus hours of OT a week, and did this for years. Course she had a nice house, 2-3 vehicles including a tricked out motorcycle. Her kids' college paid for. As far as I know she's still doing it. What's the point of having those things and not even getting the opportunity to enjoy them? In college there was a parking garage that charged around $2 an hour. I couldn't get a parking pass but learned the heated garage that charged $2 an hour had a $20 fee for a lost ticket. I would park my car in there for a few weeks at a time and when I had to leave would lose my ticket and be forced to pay the $20 lost ticket fee. And X200B. A parking pass was around $500 to park outside and I ended up paying around $300 in lost ticket fees to park in the heated garage. The soda machine at a dorm I lived in had a weird glitch. If you put in 5 cents more than the asking price and push the product select button, the machine would empty all of its change out at once. We did this a few times and got $20.40 each time. When I was at university, the pay-for-campus printers all worked on a system where you'd print your documents, release them at the printer, they'd print, then after they've finished printing, it would then contact the server to get the cost deducted from your balance. That final step always took a while and I discovered in my first year that if I cancelled the print job as the final page was rolling out of the printer, It wouldn't deduct the cost from my balance. With this method I got free printing for nearly 2 years before they upgraded the system. We had a slightly different printer hack. My university charged our printing money out of our accounts in one big lump at the beginning of each semester. If you didn't use it by the end of the semester, you lost it. No rollover. The printers were all pretty awful and you could only print from computer lab computers which always seemed to be full. My roommate got so sick of it all, she brought an old printer from her parents' house to use in our room. At the end of each semester, we printed blank pages off the student printers until we used all of our printing funds that we would have lost anyway. Black and white printing was less than color per page, so we always had the settings set to monochrome, getting us even more pages for our money. We ended up with an abundance of nice paper for our room printer, keeping the costs of our private printer way down. Totally worth it. I lived near a casino that would let you get chips using your credit card. I liked some of the shows and restaurants there but never gambled. So every time I went I charged $5k to my credit card for chips. Then I'd cash out at a different teller, swing by the bank on the way home, deposit the money and pay off my credit card. I did this maybe once a week. Boom, $5k of free points cash back. Dang, that's nice. I worked at a couple casinos locally here as a check cashier and you can buy chips with credit card. But there's a huge fee attached to it, something like 15-20%. I'm pretty sure I heard that in the US every major credit card company prohibits businesses that accept their card to charge any additional fees over what it would cost with any other form of tender. You still see it a lot at places like liquor stores and takeout places. Surprised that a casino could get away with it. Edit. Just looked it up. I'm wrong. But it apparently used to be that way up until 2013. To charge any additional fees over what it would cost with any other form of tender. If I recall correctly, you just can't call it a credit card fee or something. You can still charge a fee for using the credit card, but I think they want it to be less obvious or something. I know various places do a service fee if you pay with a credit card for this reason. I know a lot of places don't charge a credit card fee, but do give a cash discount in order to get around it. MoviePass was $10 a month and you could use it to get one movie ticket a day. I lived next door to a Regal, and I went every day because Regal would give their reward points for every ticket purchased. They didn't care that MoviePass was paying for the tickets and giving them to me as part of my subscription. In 8 months I spent $80 on the subscription and saw everything that came out, and I racked up enough Regal rewards points for about 50 free popcorns or drinks. MoviePass went out of business but I still had all the Regal rewards. Wonder why they went out of business. Hate the game, not the player. MoviePass was stupid as hell to set up their business with wildly unsustainable pricing. I know it sounds stupid but I kind of felt bad for them. Knew there was no way their business model would work, but they tried anyways and you got to admire that. One time I was at McDonald's with a friend and I got a McCrab for €2, and I decided to try out filling out the survey at the bottom of the receipt for a free drink. I got my drink and to my surprise on the receipt I got for the drink there was another code for a survey. So I tried it again and it worked. We did it about 5 times until we decided to leave. The next day I decided to try it again and for some reason it didn't work. A month ago I was at McDonald's but unfortunately didn't work again. Before the pandemic hit, I used to sometimes go to Taco Bell between classes for a snack. One day I got a receipt with a code to fill up an online survey for a free taco on your next purchase, which is what I was buying anyways. Since it was just a small snack, I decided I'd fill it up and buy a soda, which was cheaper, next time just for the free taco, thinking it wouldn't give me a new code, but it did. Anyways, I started doing it so often that the employees started recognizing me, and one even told me normally I tell customers to remember to fill out the survey, but I'm sure you'll remember. I mean, if you're saying nice stuff then it benefits them too. When I worked retail, corporate loved getting 100% surveys and only 100%. So we would have bent over backwards pretty much if we had a regular filling them out all the time, because it would keep corporate off our backs and happy. We had a regular back when I worked at Dunkin' Donuts who would come through 2-3 times every day for a black coffee, but always had a receipt survey for a free donut in the mornings. We got a 100% satisfaction survey at the same time every day and assumed it was him. Quiet guy, rarely spoke, but we definitely looked the other way with his surveys. The local Wendy's had a survey on the back of their receipt that would get you one free burger of your choice with the purchase of any other premium burger. They also had a special on where the Dave's Classic Single, considered a premium burger, was $2. There was no specification that the free burger had to be of equal or lower value. The first time I didn't even make a purchase. Just went into the store, found the receipt near the garbage, filled out the survey, got my code, and then ordered their Asiago cheese chicken burger, their most expensive item, with a Dave's single, 2 burgers for $2. Then of course I had a receipt for that purchase, which led to infinite $2 for 2 burger deals. I used to go round and round in the Arby's parking lot with this one. I'm surprised your heart didn't give out. I was visiting a hospital on a daily basis for many weeks. Premature twin babies. But they didn't do multi-use discounts. There's the hours you were here, pay up type of thing. And it was costing something like £5, £10 per day. Until a few days in I realized that the hospital had only just appointed the car parking company and they haven't yet installed the arrival time machine at the car park entrance. But had only put a temporary machine in the hospital lobby, which you were meant to use on your arrival. And from that day on I got my arrival time ticket when I was leaving and only paid minimum stay. Our hospital here has a $2 fee for parking. You drive in, gate opens and lets you in. But on your way out you need to pay $2 for the gate to open. Everything is automated, so no people. I went to the hospital unexpectedly one day, had to take a friend in, and realized I had no change on me to get out. Machine only took $1 and $2 coins. Went back into the hospital and asked security if there was somewhere I could pay with debit and get change back for the parking fee. Security just said there's a button you can press on the gate machine for help. Press it and someone will answer over a speaker and just tell them you don't have any money. They will open it up. So I proceed to do exactly that. I press the button. They don't say anything, just open the gate for me. So basically some guy just sits in an office all day opening a gate when people press the button, and their paid parking is something that they give zero poops about. Never paid to park at our hospital again. It's probably not even about the money, and the pay to park thing is just to discourage parking by people who aren't using the hospital. Is there a mall or an office complex nearby? Domino's Pizza Australia. When ordering online, delivery charge was added to the first pizza, so I'd buy garlic bread, hot chips, chicken wings, a drink and some desserts and skip the delivery fee by paying by card online. Kept it up for 2 years before they updated their terms and shut the loophole. Domino's Canada also used to have a great deal. 50% off their entire menu every Monday. You could buy pizza, breadsticks, and 2-liter soft drinks and each item would be 50% off. So basically you could stock up on brand soft drinks for about $1 each. Unfortunately they also updated their terms and now it's just 50% off pizza. What really disturbs me is that Domino's now has at least a few tables at all of their stores in my area, but they won't give or sell you water to drink with your food. Seems like it should be illegal. Early in the smartphone world there was an app that gave you points for watching TV shows and ads that you could turn in for gift cards or discount codes. The rewards were not great, but over time and by waiting for gift card restock you could make out like a bandit. However, the shows they wanted you to watch were not my cup of tea, a lot of primetime shows and reality shows, and I wasn't home for a lot of them, so I thought I was sole. Turns out, the app had a grace period where if you had recorded the show on your TV you could still get credit. So I just pirated the shows and set my phone up to watch them while I did something else. Then I realized it only listened for about 2 minutes before it gave you credit, so I was able to get through the log of shows in about 40 minutes and make a killing. Because of that app I was able to get a KitchenAid stand mixer, a smoker and a bunch of other stuff because of the gift cards. I've done similarly with Swagbucks. Now they limit it a bunch more. But a few years ago when I used it a lot more often, I'd pull up the ad videos either on phone or computer, mute it, and let it run while I watched TV, did chores etc. I got a bunch of free stuff from Amazon with it. For a while Amazon gift cards were cheaper than all others at the $5 rate, so I'd trade it in for a bunch of $5 GC until they built up enough to buy more. Definitely made a few $100s off it for the 6-8 months I used it consistently, virtually all by just letting it run silently while I did other stuff on another device. Now they cap the amount you can earn daily by video to some low amount. There's software that generates credit card numbers. Now you can't actually buy anything with these numbers, because when the system tries to charge them, it gets rejected. However, there was a website, like many others, that would give free Amazon gift cards via email for trying out partnered subscription services that offered free trials. You'd click the offer link, get redirected to the partner site, fill out all the information and use the fake number, and it would confirm on the offer site before getting rejected by the partner site. About a week later, you'd get a digital Amazon gift card in your inbox. Got enough to buy a PS2. Long time ago. Haha, you don't even need software. There's websites that will generate them in massive quantities. If it's not checking with the bank, the last number is the only one that matters, as it's the checksum validating the rest. But any portal worth its salt will actually check if the number exits, and probably if the name address matches. Also, a lot of those websites also generates entire identities, ostensibly for populating valid test data. 1 credit card point for every dollar spent, but up to 5x for every dollar spent abroad. I've been on a 6-year holiday abroad and they haven't brought it up. Surely you are getting stung with some hideous currency conversion fees. Most travel reward cards specifically don't have those. Microsoft used to have, still might for all I know, online training for video game retailers in order to train store employees on current and upcoming products that they could sell. The training gave points for each video and knowledge quiz you took, which could be exchanged for free games, computer hardware, store gift cards, etc. by signing in under a random GameStop store ID number, which was posted online. Skipping the video and brute forcing the knowledge quiz was able to rack up a whole bunch of points and get several Xbox games and simple computer hardware for essentially nothing. Never worked a day of retail in my life. I actually took those quizzes. I worked at a video game store years ago. I just opened up 2 windows on my browser. One window for the test and one window for the information the test was based off of. Edit. Just remembered. One of my co-workers took the test too and got the games and put them in a gift bag and brought them to Walmart and exchanged them for a Walmart gift card. So it still works? Will Microsoft still give you tons of free stuff? Sure. Just sign up for Microsoft Rewards and use Bing as your default browser. You get points for every search, daily free bonuses to play, and can rack up $5 gift cards to pay for games or to cover your gold account. When my brothers and I were 10 years old, we found a Crane Candy game where you were guaranteed to win something. We found a laser sensor in the area where you pick up your prize. This indicated whether or not something had dropped. So, by holding the flap door open at the bottom, the sensor was never triggered, so for 25 cents we nearly emptied the machine. Thanks Red Robin. Yum. Not me, but my dad. He was building a deck on their house. If the deck attaches to the house, you need a permit to build one in our city, since it's considered an addition improvement. If the deck doesn't attach to the house, it's a freestanding structure, and you don't need a permit. So he built the deck right up against the house, but it doesn't actually attach to the house, so he didn't need a permit. All he had to do was add a few extra posts under the side of the deck nearest the house. The people who owned my last house before me also exploited this loophole, and over time all the water getting in the gap and never drying out, because they also used a patio of X height or less but raised above the ground loophole, caused the foundation in that area to start crumbling. We noticed when the siding started to sag. Building codes. Sometimes there is a reason. Building codes. Sometimes there is a reason. People selectively remember this one. I bought a card once for $10 that had 16 coupons for a BOGO pizza from Domino's. They were little stickers that you were supposed to pull off and hand in when using them. But they never asked for the stickers. They also didn't have an expiration on them. They also didn't tell anyone it was supposed to be one per order. We'd order 8 pizzas at a time. Use them for 2 years. Thousands of dollars of free pizza really help when you're a broke college kid. That's just dumb. They apparently didn't even know what it was. That's basically what happened when I first called. They had to find it in their system and it took a while, but it worked perfectly after that. In England there's a shop called Tesco's. All year they sell Terry's chocolate oranges. But at Christmas they raise the price and give it a discount to encourage people to buy them despite it being the same price. Last year there was a loophole with stacking sales. So when you bought a toothbrush and 3 chocolate oranges, they gave you 50p. Between all my shopping there I must have bought about 70. I was going to give them as gifts, but they're really good, haha. I live in the US, and I ducking love those chocolate oranges. They sell them at a store called World Market year round. Home furnishings and candy, snacks, spices from around the world. Okay, first of all, how dare you? You export cheap candy marked up to further an obesity epidemic of a former colony. It evens out. Whoa. An American complaining about Britain exporting chocolate at marked up rates to America in an around the world shop to further an obesity epidemic? In England I've been on a streets with like 7 shops dedicated to just American sweets. That's it. Also Terry's chocolate oranges are far from cheap over here. Years ago I would but a few games at a time. Some of the games I'd play for a few hours before deciding I didn't like the game. Since the games were opened, the store I bought them from wouldn't take it back. However, I learned that Walmart would exchange the game for you. No questions asked without opening the new game. So I'd go to Walmart to exchange a defective game, take the new, unopened game to the store I originally bought it from and return it for full price. Oops, my cousin exploited the return a console for a new console loophole a few times. He had a launch PS2. It crapped out on him, so he bought a new one, swapped the console, then returned it. That second one crapped out, so he did it again. He did a few times. The PS2s kept crapping out. It wasn't until the Slims released that he finally got one that didn't crap out within a couple months. So he bought a new one, swapped the console, then returned it. That is a loophole in the same way lying about your income is a loophole to avoid paying taxes. Well, posted to our unpopular opinion TBF, the vast majority of the apps here are outright theft. But they're all cool with that since it's not theft from another person but instead a corporation that should have known better. Several years ago AT&T was running a trade-in promotion increasing the value of old iPhones way beyond what they were selling for on eBay CL at the time. This promo thankfully wasn't bundled to a new phone purchase and could be done on any active line of service with AT&T, so no limits on phone trade-ins. I ended up buying 31 old iPhone 4S for about $70 each on eBay and trading them all into AT&T on promotion for $200. Worked out to $6,200 in AT&T credits. Got myself 2 iPads, 2 new iPhones at the time, and enough of a credit on my bill I didn't pay for cell phone service for almost 2 years. I really miss this type of promotion. Loudly crying face. Wait, they just gave you $200 in credit for an old iPhone? No need to purchase a new phone or open a new line? Someone screwed that up big time. Pretty much. It was tied to the launch of the new iPhone 6 at the time and there was some more nuance to the deal, but pretty much yeah, I was rolling in a pile of AT&T credits. Every promotion since then that I've seen has been a one trade to new phone deal where you can't keep repeating the trade in to reap massive rewards. Maybe they learned their lesson after this promotion. Face with tears of joy. Clash of Clans. During league battles, if you click the current opponent and quickly move to next war list, you can see every opponent's base before they are revealed. I got banned for 3 days. Haha, WTF. How did you get caught? They have a pretty good anti-cheat software, but still took them 4 days to find out. Till then my clan had already planned all the strategy. Opened an Amex credit card and the introductory offer was 10% cash back in restaurants for the first year. I worked for a poopty chain restaurant as a server, so I would just stack a few of my large cash tables and put them on my card, then pay it off every week. Muddy an extra $20 to $30 a shift. I'd imagine the restaurant not liking this as credit card fees are high, especially Amex. It would be grounds for dismissal for a number of places. Yeah, you're not wrong. Would never do this at a small place, but FCKKKK Buffalo Wild Wings, they can suck my dick. Oh, yeah, BWW can and should suck your dick. Spicy. Was on a cruise ship a few years ago that had a pay per minute policy. You'd buy like 200 minutes of Wi-Fi access for $100 or whatever crazy price it was. They had a little portal that you went to start and stop the timer and tell you how much time was remaining. I quickly realized that the timer counted by whole minutes. That is, if I started at 12 hours, 0 minutes, and 1 second, and stopped it at 12 hours, 0 minutes, and 58 seconds, then it counted as 0 minutes of internet use. For the entire cruise I took advantage of this. Start the timer. Fire up your internet apps like Facebook and Instagram and let your timeline and emails download. Or launch a website and let it load. Stop the timer. Browse your feed and photos and read your website and emails offline. Compose posts and replies, etc. Start the timer again to send upload. Stop it again within a minute. I milked those 200 minutes for an entire 3-week cruise and still had 45 minutes left over at the end. I had a similar thing on a cruise I went on. Bought a prepaid SIM card that worked across the Caribbean but only 1 GB of data. When you ran out of data you could open the SIM provider's app and click the button to buy more data, which immediately turned on the data services again for 5-10 minutes so that it could process the transaction, even if you never went to the next step. Once I realized, instead of buying more data I just popped into the app and clicked that button every time I wanted to go online. Only took a few seconds and saved me a lot of money. The MC cheapie. McFlurries were like $4. All it is ice cream and a cup with some shots of topping. They don't even mix it. So we asked for a soft serve. 30C. 2 shots of toppings. $1. A cup and a spoon. Free. I forgot they used to mix them with the spoon. They still give you that spoon too. At this point they can't tell me the McFlurry machine is broke. Alright, just give me a cup of ice cream, put M&Ms on it. If you order something from AutoZone online they have a 25% off coupon. I order offline, set to pick up in store. By the time I get there it's ready, and I saved 25%. I wouldn't be surprised if that was intentional. If the customer knows what they want, let them order it themselves, and incentivize that. Then you save everyone some time putzing around in those help desk computer terminal things they have in those shops. You let the staff combine order retrieval trips, do 5 online orders at once instead of individual in-store orders, and you keep the lines short. It's smart. If a stat holiday falls on a Tuesday or Thursday, book the corresponding Monday or Friday off and have a 4-day weekend. Never thought of it as a loophole to be exploited until a coworker called it one as he filed a complaint with HR, saying I was using it to get more vacation time than him. Literally everyone does this where I'm from. The person filing a complaint about it has to be ducking stupid. I hope you didn't get into trouble for the exploit. When I was in college they had this deal where if you signed up for a free trial of Netflix you could get a $10 gift code for Papa John's. They didn't even ask for a credit card back then, just an email. So I would just use make new email addresses and would get a code every time. Not only did I get free Netflix for a while, but I also got a lot of free pizza. There was a local haunted house set up for Halloween in my hometown. It took place at a nature center, so was usually a big deal being in middle school and going out at night and around spooky trees. One thing they did to help encourage folks to participate was have a vote for the spookiest encounter in said haunted house. My friends and I saw this poll on the haunted house website and thought it was utter bullpoop that the witches at the end of the house were getting all the points, when Chainsaw Guy was clearly the best. Being a youth with limited computer time, home computers were starting to become more common, and I was limited to an hour of computer time after school. I got through what I needed to for homework and spent the rest of my time refreshing the page and voting for Chainsaw Guy, as there was no limit on how many times you could vote. After a few days of this, I guess someone noticed just how many more votes Chainsaw Guy was getting, as Chainsaw Guy was easily 100+ points more than the witches. As I was only allowed to vote once more before it cut me off, he still won, and I wonder if they know it's mostly because of a bored 12-year-old. I don't have anything interesting here, but my sister does. She really likes this one game called Raw Citizens on Roblox. In the game you can get jobs, earn money, and buy houses and furniture and stuff with it. For a brief period of time there was a duplication glitch, so she exploited the hell out of it. Rare and limited edition items, she now had dozens of each. She ended up with thousands and thousands of items she never had to pay for. She sold a lot of them and made tons of money in the game. Then they fixed it. Oh well. I used to play Raw Citizens. I found ways to duplicate your house and all furniture so you could sell it all and also unlock unlimited vaults in the bank when robbing instead of usually just 3. Abuse the poop out of both, and now if I log on I'll have like $10 million loudly crying face. On Airbnb, some hosts allow you to change the date of the booking without any additional charges, but would charge you if you cancelled the booking within certain hours. So if I had to cancel my booking without losing money, I would change the date of my reservation to a month ahead of what it is currently, and then in a couple of days cancel my reservation and get a full refund. We've done this with hotel cancellations before. Personally, I think not getting a full refund for something you paid for and didn't use is crap. The airline industry should be sent straight to hell for this. My guess would be that it's to discourage the practice of making a reservation just to hold a spot and then cancelling last minute if you decide to do something else. Cause, you know, there are people out there who like to exploit loopholes. I was working on some firewall security for an entire server of computers and routers. IDK if this counts, but I set up a loophole for any hackers. If someone was trying to get through a security system, they would probably look for an easier way to get in rather than hacking their way through a bunch of firewalls. So I set up a fake backdoor that would bring them to a second firewall, and the backdoor would automatically rename itself under a different server connection. That way, each time they entered a different backdoor, always the same one, it would just bring them back to the first or second firewall I set up. This is the easiest way to explain it. If someone was stupid enough tried to use the easiest way possible into the system, it would constantly reroute them to the beginning without them knowing it. This went on for 6-7 months before someone eventually got through the firewall and their IP address was pinged, and we ended up getting the cops involved. It was someone within the state's jurisdiction. I hope this was interesting for Reddit LOL. This reads like it's from someone that has never touched a corporate network. Had intermittent anemia in college that I was trying to improve, but the blood work was about $100 each time. I started donating blood, and if I was too low they'd turn me away and I'd keep trying to up my iron. If I was high enough, I got to donate to a good cause. Win-win. Edit. Typo. Coming to school 3 hours late. I found out that as long as you have a parent's note, you could come in late unlimited times. The only restriction is that after 15 days missed for a class, you'd fail it. So, at the beginning of the year I pressured my guidance counselor to move my 2 study periods to period 1/2 and a blow-off class, which I didn't need the credit for, to period 3. Came to school at 10:30 am every day my senior year opposed to 7 am. Extra 3 hours of sleep. Bringing fast food into lunch and avoiding the hectic metal detectors made it well worth. Props to my grandma for writing 140 late notes for me at the start of the year. That, my friends, is how you play the system. Props to my grandma for writing 140 late notes for me at the start of the year. So she just sat down with a stack of paper and cranked out a year's worth of notes in one go? That's hilarious. Be courteous and friendly. You'll achieve a lot more than someone that is better than you with a smart mouth. I have asthma. Nothing crazy, but in high school I was able to fill out some paperwork with the nurse's office related to my chronic illness. In short, I was able to write my own excuses without a doctor note, and I would be able to write excuse notes for past absences. I think I raked up 20-40 excused absences my freshman year alone. I found a loophole in high school where I skipped 110 class periods and no one noticed because I'm a nobody. Edit. Eventually did get caught. That's why I know the number. But it was the end of the year and my grades were okay, so they let me graduate. Capital F. Several years ago our state enacted some statutes that made renewing or obtaining a car tag much challenging and annoying. The idea was to drive off all of the undocumented folks from our state. The problem was, it hit just as hard on other segments of the population, like folks who work a 9-5 and can't afford to take a day off to go stand in line. However, the new rules did not apply to vehicles owned by businesses, so I made a killing helping folks create an LLC, sell their car to the LLC, obtain a new title, and get a new tag. While that sounds like a lot of work, it was easier than following the new rules, and it really only required filling out a series of forms that my clients could then come by and sign at their leisure, and in future years, it made renewing a tag a total breeze. Sadly, after about 3-4 months, other attorneys caught on to what I was doing and copied my idea, so I lost that little stream of bonus revenue. Fortunately, lots of the more annoying requirements that had been put in place have been removed now, but those who I helped still have a slightly easier time renewing their tag each year. Montana, Alabama. During online school, I found an extension on the Google Web Store for the Chrome Dino. You see, the Chrome Dino is disabled on our Chromebooks, and this was the only way to play it until the school day was over and I do other things. Just be glad your school didn't block 98% of the web store. Netflix's unlimited DVD rentals back in the 2000s. Never burned so many DVDs in my life. Carl's Jr. app offered something like 10 points for checking in each time you visited. Once you had 100 points you could get a free $6 burger. Well, I figured out the checking in counted as long as your cell phone was within maybe 100 yards or so of the restaurant. And I drive past a Carl's Jr. right before my house, so I would check in on the way to work each morning and check in again on the way home. Free burger every 5 days. Then they changed it so 100 points was a BOGO instead, but it was good while it lasted. Mexico. Lay's chips. I was 12 years old. Every bag had a scratch it card. Payout ranged from free sodas, chips, candies to cookies. I shined a laser pointer under the card to figure out where to scratch the card in order to win. Won every time. Left a lot of room in my budget for intercourse, drugs and alcohol. Few years ago, you could buy R6's DLC through Steam, activate it on a Play and refund it on Steam. You'd still have the DLC on a Play and your money back. It might have worked for different games too, but never tried. I've still got most of it. Some of it has been removed over the years. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.